Hello, fifth graders. It is Mrs. Casilio, your virtual teacher, and I am so excited to be with you this week as we continue our learning. So we are in week 6, lesson 25 already, which seems hard to believe. And we are going to, let's just take a minute to just look at our guiding questions. We've been spending each week, we've been working with these, but let's just refresh our memory together. How do natural disasters affect the people and places that experience them? And how can we prepare for a natural disaster? So we've done so much work around these two guiding questions. We've looked at sub-zero temperatures and hurricanes and tornadoes. Let's continue this work and see what we are going to learn about this week, keeping those guiding questions our focus. Okay, so the materials you will need, our new text is titled Everyday Mysteries. Can it rain frogs, fish, and other objects? Ooh, that sounds so exciting. You need lesson 25, the lesson 25 note catcher, and a sharpened pencil. So as always, please press pause, gather your materials, and come on back when you're ready. All right, so we have our materials. Let's take a look at our learning target together. I can determine 2 or more main ideas of a text and explain how they are supported by key details. So we've done some work around this learning target, but let's just unpack it together. So I can determine could mean a lot of things. I can talk about, I can write about, I can explain 2. Remember, we're in 5th grade now, so we're looking at 2 or more main ideas of the text. Remember, main idea is the big idea that the author wants us to take away from the text, and explain how they're supported by finding details throughout the text. All right, so let's do this first one together. So you are gonna grab your text while I grab mine. You can have a family member, a caregiver, a friend with you, but follow along as I read our first read through of our text. Everyday mysteries, can it rain frogs, fish, and other objects? I'm gonna pause to make sure you have yours. I'm gonna grab mine. You ready? Let's get started. So everyday mysteries, can it rain frogs, fish, and other objects? Wow, take a look at that image right there. And let's read the picture caption that goes with it. It says water spouts, and then in parentheses, a tornado, hit the Black Sea in the Arhavi Desert district of Turkey's northeastern province of Artvin on June 8th, 2016. And if you scroll down, it lets us know that this was published on January 17th, 2017. Okay, so the question, this is really interesting. Can it rain frogs, fish, and other objects? I don't know, what do you think? Let's read and find out. Answer, there have been reports of raining frogs and fish dating back to ancient times. Of course, it doesn't rain frogs or fish in the sense that it rains water. No one has ever seen frogs or fish appear out of the sky. However, some winds are powerful enough to lift animals, people, trees, and houses. These strong winds usually appear during tornadoes and hurricanes. It is possible that they could suck up fish or frogs and drop them elsewhere. Our next section is titled Scientists Spell It Out. Many scientists think that something called tornadic waterspouts might be the cause of animal rainfalls. These are tornadoes that travel over the water. They are not as strong as land-based tornadoes, which can reach up to 310 miles per hour. But tornadic waterspouts can reach 100, but tornadic waterspouts can reach 100 miles per hour, which can still be quite destructive. A popular misunderstanding is that waterspouts rise out of the sea. Actually, they begin in the air and descend toward the water's surface. The first visible sign of a tornadic waterspout is usually a dark spot on the surface of the water. This is caused by a spinning column of air stirring up the water. As the spinning column of air, or vortex, that's a word we're familiar with, becomes stronger, the surrounding water is pulled into a spiral pattern of light and dark bands. Eventually, a ring of spraying water forms around the base. Then, the funnel extending from the sky toward the water's surface becomes visible. At this point, the waterspout is considered to be a mature storm. Like a tornado, a waterspout has a central vortex and a rotating funnel of wind. The vortex is strong enough to suck up small objects like a vacuum, Later, these objects fall like rain. Our next section is titled, Animals That Go Up Must Come Down. Waterspouts are the most common explanation for animal rainfalls. Some scientists think that a very strong updraft could also lift small animals into the sky. An updraft is a type of wind current. During thunderstorms, updrafts can reach speeds of more than 60 miles per hour. Scientists have used updrafts to explain several animal rainfalls. For example, scientists said a tornado made it rain frogs in Missouri in 1873. They said an updraft made it hail frogs in Iowa in 1882. No one has actually seen an updraft lifting frogs off the ground. Still, it is scientifically possible. Updrafts regularly pick up lightweight objects and carry them long distances. Not all scientists agree about reports of raining animals. For one reason, some reports might be true. Excuse me, let me read that again. For one reason, some reports might not be true. Some people falsely report an animal rainfall after seeing large numbers of little creatures on the ground after a storm. However, they did not fall from the sky. Instead, storms drove small animals out of their homes. People who live in cities tend to underestimate the number of animals that live around them. So they might think the animals came from the sky rather than their natural homes. Our next section is called Fish Falling All Over the Place. Although scientists remain uncertain, a number of eyewitnesses report strongly suggests animal rainfalls on occasion. For example, on October 23, 1947, a scientist was eating breakfast at a restaurant in Louisiana when the waitress told him that fish were falling from the sky. Automobiles and trucks were running over them. Fish also fell on the roofs of houses. I personally collected a large jar of perfect specimens, he said. In February 2010, people in a small town in Australia saw hundreds of fish fall from the sky. Christine Balmer was walking home when they started raining down. These fish fell in their hundreds and hundreds all over the place. The locals were running around everywhere to pick them up, she said. I cannot imagine that. What a cool text we just read about. So we had a chance to read it, to gather information. I want you with your text to think about it and think about these things. What is this article mostly about? And what did you learn about tornadic waterspouts? So go ahead, if you need to use your text, refer back to it. Pause this video now, do your thinking, and then let's come back together. All right, superstars, so you had a chance to think about it. So now what I want you to do is with your family member, caregiver, or friend, talk about the following questions. And remember that the main idea is what? Yes, you're right. The big idea is that the author wants you to understand and take away from the text. And the key details support. Yes, you got it. The main ideas. So talk about, what do you think the main ideas of the article are? What makes you think that? So point it out in the text. And what explicit information in the text supports your thinking about the main ideas? So those key details. So go ahead and press pause, have a really good conversation, take your time, and when you're ready, come on back. All right, superstars, so you had a chance to do the reading. We had a chance to think about what we read. We talked about what we read, and now let's take a look at this note catcher and let's do some writing. It says, using the Lesson 25 note catcher, record the main ideas and the key details. So the directions say, let's look at this together. It says, thinking about your conversation, use Lesson 5 note catcher to record your main ideas and key details. Main ideas of everyday mysteries. Can it rain, frogs, fish, and other objects? So we have 4 boxes on this note catcher. We have main idea 1 with key details, main idea 2 with key details. And then there's space at the bottom for you to make additional notes and vocabulary from the article that just stand out to you, or maybe that you need a little bit more support with. Okay? So your job again is to find the 2 main ideas, you've already discussed them, and write the key details from the text that support those main ideas. All right, do some beautiful writing, press pause, and come on back when you're ready. Okay, so you had a chance to do some writing. What I want you to do is share your writing with someone and tell why you chose to write what you did. and then see what they have to say about that. After you complete your assignment, remember to read a book with a family member, a caregiver, or a friend for 20 minutes or more. Have fun and just read for enjoyment. And then, as always, this is the first day of our fluency practice, and it's one of my most favorite things for you to grab a timer, use your cell phone or the kitchen timer, have someone count to 60 for you, and read the passage for just 1 minute, reading it fluently and smoothly with expression. And then once that minute is up, make a little ticky mark or circle the last word you read, count the words you read, and write the number at the top of your text. Remember, this is just for you to gauge how much you grow each week as a fluent reader. So I'm so super proud of you. I'm excited to continue our work as we go into lesson 27. You guys have an amazing